Oh, parents, the vagus nerve, it's all the craze right now. You can probably Google it and get millions of hits and all sorts of life hacks and biohacks into your life, but you probably don't quite know how that vagus nerve is going to help your kid and how many of those exercises you need to incorporate into your life. How many times can you hum and gargle water and move your head right and left before that vagus nerve starts coming online? Well, I gotta tell you, number one, that's our job, is to make sure that that vagus nerve is working the way it could as neuro-based chiropractors. Number two is to measure the stress on the vagus nerve and the tone. And let me tell you about that. Your vagus nerve is the nerve that runs the calming, self-soothing, resting and digesting side of your nervous system. It helps with social and emotional health. It helps with our gut to digest food. It helps put us to sleep at night. And with kids, it helps with growth and development. Now, we have another side of our nervous system that this is always battling with, our sympathetic fight or flight response. When we start to overutilize fight or flight, we start to underutilize rest and healing. These two systems have to be equally as strong. If we had lots of stress in utero while our baby was developing and growing, if we had a lot of intervention during birth, tugging, medication, intervention that happened, if we had stress during their toddler years, if we are exposed to a lot of high inflammatory foods and environmental stressors, we're gonna keep amping up that sympathetic response. And unfortunately, in turn, just like any other muscle in the body, this parasympathetic response is gonna be turning down in tone. What we need to do is build up the strength of the vagus nerve. It's that brainstem nerve that connects the brain to the gut, to the organs, to the glands. It's a sensory nerve, so it's also going to help us with social and emotional regulation, but that nerve has to be toned. It has to be as strong as the sympathetic response. If this is your gas, here's your brake. You can't run in a Ferrari with a tricycle brake. We need those two to match. We run those on our neurological scans that you've been learning about. We are removing the tension or the subluxation that's interfering with that vagus nerve. If it gets tied up anywhere along its route, it can be interfered with. It can lose its ability to run that communication back to the brain to say, here's where we need help. Here's where we need to digest. Here's what's going on inside these organs and glands. Here's how I'm feeling emotionally. Back to headquarters, so headquarters can send that information back out. Now, if you are the parent who is thinking, my kid needs that, how do I tone up the vagus nerve? I don't want to keep doing these exercises. Come in, get an assessment, get a neuroscan, help us show you how that vagus nerve release and the tone up can really help the improvement in your child's life so they're living in a self-regulated state.